Perhaps one of the most overlooked consequences of the global financial crisis is the explosion of growth economists have seen in the black markets. Everyone knows about the underhand sale of goods, but few understand just how much covert street vendors and back alley dealers affect the world economy.
The rule is this: wherever there are strict government controls, there will be black markets. People will get around those controls, and although most people tend to view those markets as a negative because they involve disobeying civil laws, some noted economists see the black market as a morally neutral or even positive market force.
Where are you from?
Athens, Alabama. I'm from California.
I'm from Atlanta, Georgia.
I'm from Snellville, Georgia.
I am from
Birmingham, Alabama.
Virginia.
I'm from Marietta, Georgia.
What is the black market?
Sketchy, back trading and stuff.
Like selling organs on the black market, like legal organ selling things. Is something bad? Drugs. Like illegal things. What about the stuff that's like the purses that are fake? Is that part of it?
Black market is basically people buying and selling stuff illegally.
I've heard of it. I feel like it's kind of an underground market for illegal buying and selling of things.
Black market is pretty much an underground market that sells
selling of items like knockoffs, stolen items.
Basically, it's a market used to sell commodities that might not be sold in daylight, more or less. Illegal commodities, primarily.
I think the black market is buying and selling things for profit that is kind of underground as far as not governmentally run and not known about.
The black market, the illegal business of buying or selling goods or currency in violation of restrictions such as price controls or rationing.
It is also a place where these illegal operations are carried on.
When you hear the term black market, what comes to mind?
Sketchy, back trading and stuff.
Like selling organs on the black market, like illegal organ selling things.
I think of gangsters and really dangerous people doing bad things.
clothing, guns, to animal skins and different things like that.
Weapons, primarily.
Have you ever purchased anything from the black market?
Buying those fake purses maybe.
I bought some heroin. It was a purse.
I can't say that I have.
Not, and I don't think so.
I have, because anyone who's ever bought a pirated CD or DVD, yeah, that's the black market.
Probably, maybe, once or twice.
Most people don't even realize that they have purchased items from the black market, even things as small as an imitation purse from China.
How do you think the black market spreads throughout the world?
I think thievery chains that start, word of mouth, people who are out there with a hustle, poverty, things like that. Same way that stealing starts, I guess.
Word of mouth.
How does the black market affect our economy?
I think it negatively affects our economy because there's
Things that could benefit the government, benefit the people if it were regulated, like drugs. I think it takes away from, people are spending money on doing illegal things rather than using it to buy legal things to help the economy.
It's bad for our economy. It's not helping us stimulate the economy and get it back up by people not buying legal things.
It's bad because it moves production from here to other places where it's easier to have illegal work, but I feel like that's not really having a huge lasting impact on our economy because obviously people are still buying like luxury goods. I bought a fake Chanel purse, and obviously Chanel's still in business, so I think we're good.
It's quite possible that it has a major effect on the economy because if we're putting more money into illegal goods, which will not go back into the economy, there's no way for it to grow. If the economy is bad, that means it's less jobs and less room for progression. And if there's less room for progression, that means it's more poverty and oppression.
I mean, it's a free market. People are going to sell what they want to buy and sell. So I don't think it really hurts or helps the economy necessarily any more than any other market would.
Just use purses for example. I think when you go into an actual designer store, that price is going to be marked so high because all across the country, across the world, people are buying a Coach bag for $12 where it's really like a $700 bag kind of thing. So I think it definitely works against the actual makers of Coach, for example. So they have to adjust that price differentiation by probably marking up their prices.
We define globalization as the blending and expansion of cultures with the aid of modern technology, transportation, and international communications.
Everyday activities reflect characteristics of a globalized world, such as the internet, cell phones, airplanes, politics, new ideas and thoughts, fashion trends, and much more.
If all the world's informal markets were formed into a single independent nation, its $10 trillion economy would be the second largest on the planet behind only the United States. These markets thrive in places where taxes are low, poverty is high, and resources are scarce.
The colors on this map indicate the size of each country's underground economy as a percentage of its GDP.
So I go to New York a lot, living in Virginia, and a lot of times you'll see the people on the side of the road who have their vans full of the designer bags, you want Gucci, you want Coach kind of thing. And when I went to Italy, I actually experienced the same thing where vendors would have giant bags of things covered like with a kind of tarp thing, and they'll see you approaching and ask you, do you want designer bags? They'll have watches, bags, hats, clothes, all of that in like giant trash bags. And you don't know if at this point it's counterfeit, if it's stolen or what, but it's everywhere.
Friedman states, the fact that the black market involves breaking the law is something against it. It's an undesirable feature, but this only exists when there are bad laws. And nobody believes that obeying every law is an ultimate moral principle. There comes a point, if you look back at the history of law obedience, think of conscientious objective during wars. I think you will see that everybody agrees that there is a point at which there is a higher law than the legislative law.
Therefore, considering the rapid expansion of government controls compounded with the global economic crisis, is it any wonder why these illicit markets have grown to such an enormous size?